Welcome back to Legacy Battle. With me tonight from the Gridiron Battle Zone, Brian King from Steelers Nation South, Rollo Cawthon. I'm your host, Michael Adams. We are joined for an interview by Robert Pappy Fitzpatrick, former Steelers speed coach and assistant strength and conditioning coach. He worked under Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin, so just two, more than likely, both Hall of Fame coaches. Cowher's already in. Twice ranked in Men's Health Magazine top 100 for best trainers in the country. Today, he runs Premier Sports Team, which we're going to ask about later on in our Q&A. So we want to welcome Robert. Thank you so much for joining us.
It was good. What's going
on? Excellent. Let's jump into this. Brian, go for it.
Okay, Robert. So can you give us a little background into how you got started in the training industry and how speed training became your specialty?
How I got into the industry. Okay. I attended West Youngs High School here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we had a coach, Coach Leroy Dillard, right? And I was recruited by some pretty big schools and some small schools, but I didn't know what I wanted to study. You know what I mean? I know I was always intrigued with the body, you know what I mean? But I never knew what I wanted to study. Like, you know what I mean? Most people back then were like mass communications and business, you know what I mean? So he said, hey, have you ever heard of physical therapy? So I was like, nah. So he explained it to me. So I said, okay. So at that point, from, hearing from him, that's the first time I ever heard the word before. First time it was broken down to me before. And so it was almost like Chinese, but it grabbed my attention because it's about the body. So I decided that's what I wanted to be, as a physical therapist. The university I attended, Norfolk State University, they didn't have physical therapy. They had corrective therapy, which changed over, and a better definition for it was kinesiology or kinesiotherapy, right? So I studied kinesiology. So that was even more in depth with the body because it's, quantitative analysis of human movement. You know what I mean? So my classes would go like this. So my instructor would swing a golf club, and I would have to tell him what muscles he's using on a horizontal plane, on a sagittal plane, you know what I mean? And what was the first class movers, the second class movers, and the third class moving muscles, So I was pretty good at that. And like I said, it grabbed my attention. And then there were certain players on the team that I would take and I would show them different things, like train them. All right. And that worked out pretty well. And I was like, okay, I kind of like this. You know what I mean? So I decided to get certified as a personal trainer, like to take it to the next level. So I said, let me go ahead and get certified as a personal trainer. Went on through the National Strength and through the NFPT, National Federation of Personal Trainers. I got certified. And then from there, I landed my first job at the YMCA downtown.
Oh, nice.
Right? I walked in the YMCA downtown like I was walking in there training the Los Angeles Rams. I was good. I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? I didn't study. You know what I mean? I didn't read. I'm ready to go. It's my first opportunity to jump into personal training. And it's the YMCA. And then I applied for the Rivers Club, which was right around the corner. Now, when I applied at the Rivers Club, that's when doors start opening. I start meeting different people. I'm not going to lie. It really started opening my eyes. I'm from Homewood. Okay. And there's just certain things that aren't in our neighborhood, and those were things that I was at my fingertips, and it was easy for me to reach out to people because they were standing right in front of me. You know what I mean? Where I'm from, you would never meet them. They would never drive through. There's no way you can meet these people. So at the Rivers Club, I did real well, and I won Top 100 Trainers America through Men's Journal magazine, through the Rivers Club. I was working at the Rivers Club. And then I won again like 2 years later. And then, so at this time, I'm thinking like, okay, let me see what's going on the sports end. All right, because I have a sports background. So as a personal trainer, I said, let me get on the sports end. So I developed Premier Sports Team. Okay, what consists of me, my brother, Keno Fitzpatrick, and my other strength coach, Leonard Butler. All right. So we got a Premier Sports Team together, and I went to, oh man, remember that camp back in the day? The index camp? They used to be over at UPMC. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Joe Butler. It was the Joe Butler Metro Index football camp. Well,
Okay.
this is where all the coaches are from around the city and WPL teams, all the coaches, their parents, and all the athletes are there, right? So it's the perfect spot for me to go ahead and launch Premier Sports Team. So, I go, I go in so serious, right? Because I'm like, okay, this is it. You know what I mean? And I'm excited. So the first team that I land was Greensburg Central Catholic. That was under Muzzy. That's when they were going to the championships. They were doing pretty well. So that was our first team, and we trained Greensburg Central Catholic's football team, their baseball team, and their girls track team. And then after that, I spoke at the Nike clinic, and when I spoke at the Nike clinic, I got the attention of Notre Dame.
Nice.
And Notre Dame wanted to hire me. It was Mickey Marotti, which is with Ohio State right now as the athletic director, I believe. He wanted to hire me, but I had to pick where I want to go. Do I want to go pro, or do I want to go on the college level? And I have the pro thing right at my lap at the time. You know what I mean? And I chose that route. We had the Greensburg Central Catholic. From there, we got North Allegheny High School, Plum High School, Central Catholic High School when they had Eugene Jarvis and all those guys. And we had their soccer team. We had their soccer team as well. Well, rumor has it that, I don't really know, because I never asked Dan, Art's son, but there was a program that was being ran, a basketball program that was right near Central Catholic's practice field. Right? And we were training them. And he kind of let his dad know, like, hey, I seen these guys. And they was flipping tires or running with parachutes. Like, I never seen this. It was, just telling his dad about it. And then at the Rivers Club, people were inquiring, like, hey, you ever check Robert out? He's doing some pretty good things. And we also had Pittsburgh Tennis Academy, too. And I trained Sewickley's girls. No, it was Fox Chapel or Sewickley's girls swim team. So anyway, he was Art approached me and said, hey, would we have a position, speed coach, would you be interested? And me, how I do things, regardless of what it is, I'm gonna give it some thought. So I said, okay, it sounds good. I'll go ahead and think about it. All right. So I go ahead. I didn't have to think about it. All right. I knew what I was going to do. So I ended up taking the position. But here's the thing. Chet Furman was the head strength coach at the time. And they didn't offer me a lot of money at the first when we first met. Right. So at this time, I didn't won top 100 trainer in America. I have all these schools. I'm training some collegiate athletes, some high school athletes. And I'm saying I can't do it for that. So Chet Furman says to me, well, you step outside the office. So I step outside the office, and all my friends know that I'm applying for this job. So my phone is ringing off the hook. When I answer the first call, it's like, what's going on? I said, man, they offered me pink. I can't do it for that. I can't do it for that. They were cussing me out. Motherfucker, Robert, are you fucking crazy? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I said, man, I just couldn't. I don't know what it was. Maybe if it was the first thing that ever fell in my lap, but I've done some things where I was like, I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? And because I play sports, I feel like I'm the best at it. I'm not downplaying no one around me, but what motivates me is me. You know what I mean? I'm a self-motivated person. I try to be the best that I can actually be, and so I get off the phone with my friends. He calls me back in the office. He gives me a number that's cool, and then we go from there. History is from there. Like, it was crazy for me to be a kid from Homewood, you know what I mean? And right there with a position like that, with guys that's worth so much money, you know what I mean? Every day is serious. All the time, it's ticking all the time, and I'm so glad for like when you look back at experience and things that you go through, sometimes you're like going through certain things. But I never forget, we had the entire team and the rookies just came in and it was raining outside and we couldn't train outside. And Chet maybe made a mistake where we couldn't go inside because University of Pittsburgh was using the indoor facility and it was raining outside and you're not supposed to train athletes on wet surfaces. So Chet had me train the entire team in the hallway. And it better be stuff that is functional and things that are meaningful. You understand? I never done that before. I got the whole team in the hallway, the rookies and the whole team, and the fans is going. Listen, I never forget that day because I almost passed out. Could you imagine a whole? Not this ain't little league. These are big guys, and they're all got different stations in a hallway. Listen, and then you know me, I got a hood on, sweatpants, long socks. I'm playing the whole crazy part. You know what I mean? The coach part. But it was a hell of an experience. Like I said, I was under Bill for 3 years, and 1 year under Mike Tomlin. And that's when Stack Magazine came and interviewed me, and I was top 10 sports performance professionals in sports, whether it be basketball, golf, or whatever it may be, But it made me understand a lot of things as far as the business. And the one thing about on a professional level, all the stuff you kind of see on YouTube with a guy throwing a kettlebell in the air and catching it between his legs and rolling over a bench, they don't do that. Because the number one rule and the first rule and the second rule, and you can go 1 from 100, is no one gets hurt in a weight room. Because if they do, you get fired immediately, like that day. You know what I mean? They take it very, very serious. I mean, because there's enough going on, torque on their body, and they're paying us this money to make sure no one gets hurt in the weight room. You know what I mean? You got to control it. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised that you would think guys come from big schools, they would know what leg press is or how to leg press right. They don't. Yeah. But yeah.
But Pappy, what was your role with the Steelers when you first joined the organization, and how did your role increase as you moved with the team over those 4 or 5 years?
My job was, I was assistant strength conditioning coach, and I was head of the speed program. All right. So we worked on reaction speed. We worked on speed endurance. We worked on agility. I mean, you name it. We were at it. The funny thing about the speed endurance is that the indoor field at UPMC doesn't have a track, right? So I knew the Steelers had a relationship with Duquesne University. So I asked Art Rooney, I was like, hey, Art, we hit the water fountain. I said, Art, can I take the guys, get a bus or a shuttle over to Duquesne University? I can't see. Duquesne University. So we can do speed endurance. So he looks at me and said, no, whatever you do, we're going to do it right here. So I'm like, how the hell are we going to do that? But instead of feeling like someone's trying to sabotage me or whatever, I said, well, if I'm going to do it in here, maybe I need to think about exactly what it is that I need to do. So I went over to University of Pittsburgh, and they had a bunch of cones. Them college guys, we don't have cones like that at that level. So what I did was I made an indoor track on the turf inside and had the guys do the speed endurance, and we were running like 200s and 400s. But that was my role. As things I could say, like as far as increase, I would say more so than anything with me that I press is knowledge. My whole push, or how could I say, like if you said style, is here, getting the athlete's head right here. That is the main thing when you're training them. You know what I mean? Every last one is different, but mine is mine. Like when I was in Stack Magazine, the headline was Mind Games, because I don't care how strong you are, I don't care how fast you are. You understand? I don't care about your IQ and how quick you can move to the ball. You can play football with one hand. All right. And this guy's been kicking the ball with one foot. And you can get away with it without hearing or maybe, you know, a whole lot, but you cannot do it without your head. If you cut your head off, that's it. You're not replacing that. There's nothing for it. There's no artificial arm or nothing. So my whole get up is getting in an athlete's head for him to understand what it takes to get to the next level. It's not always talent. It's the things that don't take talent, like focus. Right. You don't got to run a 4.5, bench 225 pounds 30 times to just be focused. You know, those small things. You know what I mean? To go ahead and let coaches know that you're being up to date and watching film. That doesn't take talent. You know what I mean? But if you have all the talent in the world and you're not doing these things, I mean, you're not the whole circle of what an athlete is made up of. You know what I mean? Like, for example, with Premier Sports Team on a basic level, I don't train no kids unless they got a 2.0 grade point average. Now, I know that's low, but if you can't do that, then I'm not going to train you. I'm not going to waste your time. Because your family's going to pay me for this. All right? But I'll let them know, like, I need to see his grades. I need to see where he's at. Where's his head at? Like I said, I'm about this.
Well, Robert, when we first spoke, I remember you began telling me about some of the concepts that you use to get the most effective speed out of a player. I mean, outside of the focus thing, can you explain some of those concepts that you would use to get the most effective speed out of a player?
Well, one, high on reaction speed.
Okay.
All right. It's good that you get a fast football player, but we know a 4.5, a 4.3 doesn't mean you can play football. All right. So, like, say, perfect example for endurance training. All right. That would consist of them running 200s and 400s meters, but with a parachute on. All right. With resistance. All right. And each athlete would have maybe close to, like, I would say 6 apiece. All right. Or 4 apiece. 4 200s, 4 400s. You know what I mean? With a parachute on. You know, that was speed endurance. As far as reaction speed, things where you're dropping tennis balls and you're moving things, because the neuromuscular control, as far as sending that message from your brain to your muscle, the one who does that the quickest is the one who moves the fastest, not the one who legs press the most.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
If that was the case, man, come on. Some of these bodybuilders would be the best sprinters if that was the case, if it came down to that. But it's not actually that, especially from the start. You know what I mean? So you can only move as fast as you can think. Like I said, again, you cut your head off and all that running will stop. All right? So it's neuromuscular control. It's the message that's sent from the brain to the muscles to move. You know what I mean? Like, it just shows, like, see, the muscles can't move without the brain. So that's where it's coming from. You know what I mean? I'll dispute anyone on that. You know what I mean? So that message being sent is sometimes is genetic, and sometimes you can work on it. You know, like, I'll give you a drill. I would have guys get into a 4-point stand. I might hold up and might have like 6 guys on the 50-yard line or on the goal line. And I might hold up 2 tennis balls. All right. So I'll let them know right hand, left hand. So if I say left hand and I drop it and you take off, that means you're focused. All right. So I'll have the balls up. I'll say right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand. If I drop the ball on the left, you're not supposed to move. All right. So now I explain it to these guys from little league to the professional level. We're at the professional level. All you guys, everyone's on the line. And I say right hand, and I drop the left ball. Guys wouldn't move. that lets me know you're not focused. You can't be. Regardless of what you say and what you think, how could you be if I just walked up to the line, told everyone what we're doing, I step back 15 yards, I say, when I drop the ball in the right hand, I want you to go in and sprint towards me, and I drop the ball in the left hand, and everybody and 3 guys take off.
Right.
You know, it's the same thing. Now, I do that because I kind of like simulate what goes in the huddle. How can the front line be told what the play's on and get up on the front line and jump off sides? Look, how long do you think it takes to run from the huddle to line of scrimmage?
Well,
Not even
half a second. Yeah,
exactly. And you was just told to play, and you jump off sides.
Right.
You understand? It's almost like, wow, like I don't like it. You know what I mean? Like that part, getting beat or a guy just running you over physically, okay, we'll work on that. But the mind game, come on, you gotta stay, you have to stay focused. You have to, what separates your great athletes from your average athletes are sometimes ones that fall off. They think different. They look at things different. You can take and put a quarterback with every weapon that Tom Brady had and run a play. And when he drop backs, he's not going to see what Tom Brady's seeing.
That's true.
His arm might be stronger than Tom Brady. They can all throw. What quarterback doesn't have a strong arm? Or they might miss accuracy or whatever. But I'm talking about a good guy. If he drops back, he's not going, and that's the difference. It's the focus. You know, it's how you apply yourself, understanding like what it takes to make it to the next level. You understand? There were sometimes remember we had Plaxico burst.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we had some guys come in when Plaxico left. Man, big guys, man, wide receivers. You're like, damn, you're bigger than everybody on my high school football team. And I stopped these 2 guys one time in the hallway, and I said, I'm asking you a question. It's not a trick question. Don't think about it too much. It should come right off of your tongue real easy, and it should. I said, as a wide receiver, what is your number one job? They said, get open. I said, wow. Get open? Get open. So you never said catch the ball.
Right.
You understand? You never said catch the ball. Okay, so now you're open. That was your main focus. So how can catching the ball be your main focus too?
Right.
Like you understand, like your main focus is to catch the ball. That's your main focus. Running a route, okay, cool. Everyone can run a route. Everyone know the passing tree. If you had a big school, whatever, it's the same route. 4, 5, 6, 7, 99. Fade, skinny, like skinny poster, all the same. You know the terminology too. You hear it all the time. All right, but so how many guys we know can run but can't catch? But then how many guys don't have that speed? Look at your Biletnikoff, catch everything coming to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, so that's a main example of, prime example of like, you gotta, understand the game. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys don't. And sometimes, talent will take you so far without actually having like true knowledge of, what this is going to take. Like this is different than like, college is different than high school. You know what I mean? Pros is different than college. Some people can't make that transformation. Some people can mentally.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Mentally. But yeah.
So Pappy, in Tomlin's first year, he came in hot with the 15 straight days of practice, 2-a-days. What was the reaction of the veterans? And was the team prepared for that type of training camp physically as it progressed?
Yeah. Yep. You didn't have we didn't have guys like fall to the back. Everyone would step up. This is the Pittsburgh Steelers. This ain't no regular organization. You understand? Guys want to come here. You understand? But some guys we can't afford because we're trying to win games, so we can't get them because but they were ready. And as far as and then you got Tomlin guys guys want to move for Tomlin. You know what I mean? It's some teams take on their coach's mentality. You know what I mean? And their heartbeat. You know what I mean? And that's that heartbeat. Tomlin has the heartbeat for that. Some coaches don't have a heartbeat. It might be the strength coach or it might be the defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? It's not always the head coach. You know what I mean? But Tomlin, you know what I mean? He's a 7'5" guy. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be straight up. He's like almost like a throwback guy and a young body. You know what I mean? Like I'm dead serious. Like one. And this is me being on the inside and just knowing, like, the things that you have to work with. You got to realize last year, we didn't know who our quarterback was, what was going on, and we were close to the playoffs. Did someone have to lose for us to get in the playoffs, or we missed the playoffs last year?
No, we
No,
made it.
they made it,
made it.
They lost.
But
they made it, but they lost. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and everyone's like, "Oh man, we didn't. Shit." Like, we got in there and look what we was working with to even get that far. And then when you got other teams who have first-round draft picks that didn't even get that far. You know what I mean? This guy gets there with these guys, not taking nothing away from them, but, like we have no Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks. You know what I mean? But as far as guys answering the call when Tomlin, they're going to move for him. They're going to move for him.
So you
don't have to press him.
You were in Pittsburgh for the bus, Jerome Bettis' final 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
His running style led to a lot of big hits on him, a lot of mileage as well. I mean, how would you prepare physically a guy like Bettis as opposed to the exact opposite with Fast Willie Parker?
You would address them both the same way. Treatment might last longer. You know what I mean? And on that part right there, that's out of my scope of practice. You know what I mean? But everyone gets treated according to what's going on with them. You know what I mean? Like, say if it's where, we play a game and after that game, Jerome is real sore. You know what I mean? And it might be his knees, it might be his back. Will that be taken care of? You know what I mean? And just because Willie, that's my man, just because Willie's younger doesn't mean that he's not sore either. It's just that it might not be his knees, it might be his lower back.
Right.
Right. You know what about Willie Parker? All our backs were hurt. Deuce Daly was hurt. Jerome was hurt. Haynes wasn't up to par. And Willie Parker, we was working with each other. He said, "Coach, can you work with me on my balance?" You know what I mean? And kind of working on his gait too, his running gait, as far as him, planting his balls of his feet in the ground. If you watch Willie run, he heel strikes. You know what I mean? And to heel strike and still be that fast is amazing to someone like me. You know what I mean? But to see him go from a free agent like the fast Willie Parker and have the longest run in Super Bowl history, I loved it. Like, you know what I mean? I seen Larry Foote go from just, a mediocre contract and making some big money. You'd be happy for those guys, especially when you meet them and you hear their stories. You know what I mean? Some people just see the things that they do on the field and don't really understand some of the things that they're doing at home or even some of the things that they're dealing with. You know what I mean? Because football is a job. You know what I mean? And after you come off the field, there's actually life. You know what I mean? Like, most professional athletes don't get pumped up for a game until 2 minutes before, maybe 3. Because before that, they're talking to their agents. Did the babysitter get there? Like, they're doing all the things that, you normally have to do and then shut it off when it's actually game time. But it's real interesting watching players, because I love the body, like you said, like what like one guy said, what's the difference between like how they'd be treated? Like that, I would see how treatment would go, but it's amazing to see how they get treated and then be ready to play the next Sunday.
Right.
You know what I mean? And also, too, once you're hurt, 9 times out of 10, that injury is going to be lagging. Like, have you had any injuries, my man?
Nothing like a football player would get. No.
No, but what kind of
broken
injury?
ankle. Broken ankle.
Okay, a broken ankle. All right. Here you go. You got a broken ankle. You come back after how long did it take you to recover from that broken ankle?
I mean, it was only fractured, so like 2 months.
2 months. All right. So you're out for 2 months. You know what I mean? Maybe it happened during, summer conditioning, whatever, and you're back in the playoff. All right. And you think you're ready and you're running, you take off, and here comes Ray Lewis. That's a different job than what we expect. Ray Lewis ain't come hitting at us at our job. We sitting at our job with an ice pack on at UPMC or whoever then gave us, you know what I mean? Or, and just, like right now, you could do your job right now with that injury. All right. But just imagine you just coming off of an ankle injury. You're in the playoffs too now. You understand? And not only that, sometimes you see it in the quarterback position. So now he's back and you can't lose your position from getting hurt unless a coach makes a call, front office makes a call, and you're in this type of situation going against professional guys. They don't care nothing about your ankle. You understand? So it's rough when I hear them say like a guy is injury prone. It's just that he never got off over that injury. You know what I mean? He had a little black back surgery, and then he don't have back surgery, and then he goes home for a while, and then after that, his job is sitting, in front of a computer. Nah, it's trying to, you know what I mean, stop the best the best running backs in the world. That's a lot. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot from a guy.
Right.
I bet you, my man, the moment he came off that ankle injury, he wasn't ready to fight no one. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, you're like, well, damn, I hurt my ankle. Like, and then when you come off that broken ankle, it's going to take time to heal even the doctor said you're cleared. And the physical therapist said you're cleared. He's not clearing you to MMA fight. You know what I mean? Like, that's something totally different. You got a condition totally different. But I love the process. That's one thing about me. I love the process. And I try to get the, athletes to understand it too. Like,
Right.
Yeah, all the glitz and glamour and all that's one thing. But okay, what if you're not putting in the work? You know what I mean? If you're not putting in the work, how can you complain about the results?
Right.
When you're not the one, you're defeating yourself. Like, it doesn't make sense. How can you get upset that you're not, moving forward or, taking advantage of situations in front of you? You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So you had mentioned that you had won Trainer of the Year a couple times, and were top 10.
It was top 100 trainers in America.
Top 100 trainers in America. So what goes into that? Is it just your work with the general public? Does it happen with the corporations? What goes into that?
What happened was what Men's Journal had told me is that they had in the Pittsburgh region, they called other personal trainers at other gyms, other managers at other gyms, and people who were in the allied health field. All right. And they were calling them and asking them, like, hey, if you had to pick a trainer, if some of these people hadn't, heard of me or whatever, if you had to pick a trainer, who would it be? And my name kept coming up. You know what I mean? And from then, I won top 100 trainers in America. All right. Then they did it again. You know what I mean? And they only did it 3 times. I made it the first 2 times. The third time I did. All right. The first 2 times, same thing. They're making phone calls, call other trainers. Because I got a phone call. You know what I mean? I got a phone call to the gym. When I asked the gym, it was Men's Journal. Like, hey, how you doing? If you had to pick a trainer, you know what I mean? I, picked a guy. He didn't win, but I picked a guy or whatever. The top 10 sports performance trainers in sports, that happened when I was with the Steelers. I was able to do that when I was with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And one thing I can say that I took the opportunity to give back to my community. So I created Concrete Playground nonprofit organization, and under that umbrella, I had the Robert Fitzpatrick Inner City Youth Football Combine. So the combine consisted of coaches and NFL scouts. The kids took a 12-question multiple choice test, which I call it the Wonder Kids test, on math, science, English, social studies, and African American history. They would do that first. Then I would have a speaker speak to them, and then they would go out on the field and they'd be trained how to run a 40-yard dash, 3-cone drill, broad jump, and a 40-yard dash, and I think the L drill. And then after they would do that, they would go ahead and eat. After they would eat, now they're being timed. And then on top of that, it was free. All right. And the kids were getting timed and everything. And at the end of the day, if your child came first place in the educational portion of the Wonder Kids test, he won a Dell computer, an autographed Rooney helmet, and an autographed Jerome Bettis shoes. All right, that's what these guys got. Like, so I was trying to use that stage to show, if you use your brain, this is what you get. Okay, you ran a fast 40, you got an autographed football. But if you use your head too, you can get the football and a computer. You can get this. So that I used that opportunity to like show, like, wow. So, and in front of all the kids, like, wow, look what he got. Yeah. He didn't run a 4.3. All right. But look at his brain. He's a smart kid. I felt like these kids who are student athletes and do very well, they're not commended or awarded like the ones who excel just athletically. And I felt it was my duty to show, like, you know, hey, these guys deserve to win something too. So that's why I added that to it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, let's finish up with this one, Robert. You were part of that Steelers organization when the team went on that amazing Super Bowl run in 2005. So what did it mean to you that you were able to make an important contribution to a champion?
And being from Pittsburgh, they won that Super Bowl. I was crying. Like, guys like me don't get jobs like that. You understand? From where I'm from, it don't happen. There's no one I know. It hasn't happened to no one yet. You understand? You know, so I took it to heart, like, wow. Like, you know, like, to be a part of something like that, it was like, it was unbelievable, you know, me, kid from Homewood, being nobody, you know what I mean? And, you know, just sticking to the books and, you know, sticking to my true gut on certain things, and you know, that seeing them win each game, I'm watching everything, and then to see them do this, it's amazing, man. How many times? I mean, that doesn't happen to some guys that are still in the league. Right. They've been on teams for years. They've never been even a part of any team that ever went to a Super Bowl. You know, so I'll never. Art gave me a watch. I didn't get a ring. Right. So I never forget, I got a phone call from Diane. She was like, Robert, can you come into the office or whatever? I said, they about to give me a ring. They gave me a ring. I'm going to show my ass. You know what I mean? I ain't going to lie. From Homewood, listen, they gave me a ring. Listen, I don't know what would have happened. I don't know. So I walk in. Art sees my very good guy. Art sees my face and say, hey, I'm just letting you know, I'm not giving you a ring. I said, because if you would have, I would have kissed you in your mouth. Like, you'd have gave me a ring. He was like, so we start laughing, and he gave me a watch, and I gave it to my son. But let me tell you something about Art. When I got released, like, I made a bet. Like, when I got released from the Steelers, in the process of that, I made a very, very bad business deal. All right? To the point where it hit my household to where my car got repossessed. Right? I called Art. I said, this is kind of embarrassing. I break it down to him. He said, Robert, that ain't no big deal. That happens. It happens. He said, come back. I wasn't with the team anymore. He said, come back. Came to the office, wrote me a check. I said, I'll pay it back. He said, you don't have to. Boom.
That's nice.
That guy right there is different. Art Rooney. Art is different. It's yes and no. He don't have to, like, you know what I mean? He's not gonna he's not gonna say, let me think about it. You understand? He's not gonna say, and I used to train his son Dan when he was at Shadyside Academy. You know what I mean? It's, Dan Rooney was playing our quarterback then. But to answer your question, man, it was a beautiful experience, man. I'll never forget it. You know, chance of a lifetime. Didn't think I was going to get hired. You know, I was probably the only one that applied for the job that didn't have NFL experience. You know, but you know, I feel like I'm the best when it comes to this. But you know what I mean? Like I love everybody. Like I would never talk down on a train or nothing. But I know for a fact I'm the best. You know what I mean? I know for a fact. I touch a team, me and my crew. I can tell you this, you will see the structure and the development mentally. It's harder to get someone to do something and get in their head. It's easy to bench press. Like, you know what I mean? Like to get down to someone show you, but for someone to say, get focused, do this, do that. Then you're like, oh man, like I got to do all that, or it takes all that. Yes, it does. You know, but back to Art, you know what I mean? And saying like, yeah, he helped me out and he's a good guy. Like Art Rooney is different. Like he perfect example, when I had my camp in Homewood, Art came and spoke. First time Art Rooney, any professional athletes ever came in Homewood brushing ever in life. All right. First time these kids ever seen Art Rooney was right there in the midst of Homewood with no security guard or nothing. He just drove right on in. They was expecting him. I have different people they was expecting. Santonio Holmes was there. Got a chance to race some of the kids in a 40-yard dash. These kids, they're redoing Homewood Field now, and hopefully I'll be able to do it again. But these kids, that's the first time, and everyone was asking me, why am I doing it in Homewood, and why am I doing it for free? Because I felt like the experience that I'm giving, I don't want a kid to say he can't even afford $1. I don't want to charge. This is the experience I wish I would have had when I was a kid. I had to do it. You know what I mean? I had a guy get in my car and say, hey, man, this could be real big. We can make a lot of money. I swear to goodness, I want to put him out right then and there. You know what I mean? But he was an older guy, you know what I mean? One of my dad's friends, you know, and I just let it slide. But, yeah. And that was huge for me too. You know what I mean? To actually, you know what I mean? I'm a come from nothing. You know what I mean? To see kids with their name, their shirt with your name on it. You know what I mean? That's it. I look at it myself like, wow, man, like that's, you know, like, I mean, you can go through life like what you're doing right now. You're making a difference. Like you're a part of the world and what's going on. There's a lot of people who aren't, you know what I mean, or don't have that mindset to want to do anything but, you know, 9 to 5. That's cool too. That's fine too. But my thing was, okay, I'm not just going to just take this, you know, opportunity, be selfish with it, working for the Steelers, meeting all these people. Let me go ahead and do something with it. You know, so when Art said that he would come, I said, oh, this is going to be beautiful. When Santonio's hand said he would come, I said, oh, man, you know, these kids have never seen nothing like that. And you should have seen Homewood Fields have dirt, have grass, potholes, and everything. You know, but I just felt like, why can't we have the best camp? Why can't it be in our community? Why can't it all? And the kids want, so what the kids want also, they want autographed helmets, they want autographed jerseys, they want autographed footballs, and they want autographed football cleats that the players actually played in. Ben Roethlisberger signed some cleats, Hines Ward signed some cleats, Jerome signed some cleats, Joey Porter. So these kids have things that are hard to get. And I knew it. And I never forget, I had someone say to me, why are you getting authentic things? All they're going to do is, give it away or, trade it for some drugs. I'm going to tell you straight up what I was told or whatever. And I was like, so what? That's not, so what? You know what I mean? Like I have to, that was one of the hardest things I ever had to do was raise money, talk to people, because I wasn't taught that in my household. So I think the only thing that where I was getting money to do this is my personality, or just my personality. You know what I mean? But I wasn't taught how to write proposals, how to ask people for money. I was being as genuine as possible. Like these kids need it. And the camp, and that was like, oh man, that was like maybe 12 years ago. I forget how long ago, but there hasn't been nothing in our neighborhood like that since. So they tore down Homewood Field. They're about to rebuild it. UPMC's putting a brand new field up there, turf field, a stadium, and I'm going to bring it back. Rob Fitzpatrick in but I want to do it at night under the lights.
Nice.
Well, we want to thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time, Robert.
Oh, thank you. I hope I answered all your questions. My wife said I could talk too goddamn much.
No, it was great. I remind everybody, hit that like, subscribe, notification button on whatever you're listening on.
No doubt.
Yep. We'll see everybody next time. Everyone have a great night.